Hi guys, Sarah here, and welcome to Novel Expectations. Today I'm coming to you with another Tuesday Talks. Tuesday Talks is a Goodreads group that was started by Janie from the Bookworms Buddy and Janelle from Miss J. Rod Reads. And I will post a link to the Goodreads group in the down bar below. This week's question is right up my alley. It's, what are your favorite love stories and or couples? This was for Valentine's Day, kind of a Valentine's Day special because next Sunday is Valentine's Day. And I was thrilled when I saw this because, as you guys know, contemporary romance, right up my alley. So, I tried to keep this list short, but if you guys want any more recommendations, please let me know and post in the comments below, and we can discuss, because I love to discuss romance novels. So, the first author I want to mention is Susan Wiggs, and I'm going more by author than books themselves. She writes a fantastic series called the Lakeshore Chronicles, which all take place in the same small town in, I believe it's upstate New York. These are wonderful, wonderful contemporary romance novels. What I really loved about this series is that there was a story arc. I think there's been almost 12 books in the series, and there was a story arc that went through like the first 10 books. You don't necessarily have to read them in order, but I prefer to do it that way because, you know, the characters build upon each other. So characters you met in book 1 will show up in book 5, and if you jump right to book 5, you will have missed maybe some of the backstory. Again, it's not crucial, you don't have to read them in order, but it's a lot more interesting. And as I was saying, there was this story arc. So the story arc starts out with the first book called Summer at Willow Lake, and it is Olivia and Connor's story. And in that story, you meet a young girl. I think she's like 10 between 10 and 13. I can't remember. Her name is Daisy, and her parents are about to get divorced. So you meet her, and she's kind of a rebel child. Well, as the books progress, you see Daisy in town, because of course she's a character in town, and you see how she grows and how she matures, if you will. And I know there were a lot of other readers who were following Daisy's story and were so excited when she finally got her own book, I think again at book 10, which was Marrying Daisy Bellamy, because she grew up. And, you know, it was fabulous to actually grow and watch a character fully grow, not over the span of a single novel, but over the span of an entire series. And even though the books don't necessarily focus on her, it was kind of nice to see her in the background and see her, you know, her grow up essentially. The next series or author I want to talk about is Susan Mallory, and I am currently reading her Fool's Gold series right now, and these are another great group of books. Again, taking place in a small town in California. Wonderful stories, the characters are fantastic. I'm really enjoying delving into these again because I have read, I think up to about book 7 or 8, but there's like 15 books now, so I'm trying to like reread the series in order because I read it out of order before. And again, another series you don't necessarily have to read in order, but I think it works out better if you do. And I saved the best for last, in my opinion. One of my absolute favorite contemporary romance authors is Kristen Hanna. I only first discovered her about 5 years ago, and these other authors I mentioned I've been reading for quite some time. And I think I was at like Walmart, and I was looking at the books, and they had one of her books called Just One of the Guys on sale for $4.99. So I snagged it, because for a full-length paperback novel, that was a good price. And I got it home, and I think I read it in 2 days. It's the story of Chastity and Trevor, and they're still one of my favorite romance couples in a romance novel. Chastity grew up with, I think it's 4 brothers, and all of them are firefighters. If not all of them, one of them might be a paramedic, but they're all in that, you know, saving lives, hero kind of field. Their father is the chief of the fire department. Their mother was a stay-at-home mom, or is a stay-at-home mom. And Trevor is like the 5th brother. He had a very bad childhood and ended up kind of hanging around with the brothers a lot. Well, anyway, Chastity is a very tall girl. She's an outgoing girl, and she's always been treated as just one of the guys. And Trevor always kind of looked at her as just one of the boys, you know, because she would roughhouse with them. She would, you know, she grew up with 4 brothers. So this was such a great story. It was so heartwarming, reading how their relationship flowed, and in true Kristen Hanna format, she goes back and forth from present day to back in the past, where, you know, Chastity and Trevor were in college together, and, you know, growing up together and stuff like that. And it's fantastic to read this great story and get a lot of the background too, and she does that in almost all of her novels, and it's fantastic. Another one I want to recommend is Fools Rush In by her as well. This is about Maggie and Malone, and their romance, and she originally falls in love with the town priest, and Father, I can't remember, Father Timothy, I think is his name, and he doesn't share the feelings for her. He's in love with someone else, and then she ends up falling for this broody fisherman guy, Malone, and just a wonderful story. I think that was her first book that she wrote, so definitely check that one out too. And The Best Man, or actually the whole Blue Heron series. The Best Man, I love, love, love. It's absolutely fantastic. It's about a woman named Faith, who is, I shouldn't say her soon-to-be husband is outed at the altar on their wedding day by his best man for him to admit to Faith that he's actually gay. And he'd been trying to not live with that fact, but trying to, if I do this, I can... It's kind of hard to explain what his thought process was. Read the book, but then it's the relationship between Faith and Levi. Levi was the best man. And they're, again, going back and forth in time to when she was a child, when they were growing up together, to their present day, relationship, because she hated him. She blamed him for the falling apart of her wedding, when in retrospect, it was probably the best thing he could have done for her. So, yeah. Highly, highly recommend those. Sorry if this video was all over the place. I am getting over a cold. But I hope I was concise enough. If you guys have any questions, please post them in the down bar below. I would love to chat about any of these books or any other romance novels. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, guys.